Hello, and welcome back to the Tech Career Compass, the show that breaks down real job descriptions so you know exactly what companies are looking for, like right now, today. I'm Alex, and with me, as always, is Ava. Ava, good to have you back.
Hey, Alex, great to be here. Hey, everyone tuning in today.
So, it's November 27th, 2025, and Ava, I've been seeing this massive surge in ABAP RAP positions. Like every major consulting firm, product company, and enterprise across industries, pharma, manufacturing, retail, they're all hiring for these roles. Have you noticed this?
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere. And what's really interesting is not just the volume, but the salary ranges. We're talking $138,000 to $162,000 base for mid-level roles. And that's just the starting point. Senior positions are going well above $200,000.
Right? So I pulled 7 actual job descriptions from this month, anonymized obviously, from product companies building the actual frameworks, major global consulting firms, and even specialized industry players in pharma and manufacturing. And here's what's fascinating. These ABAP RAP developer roles, they're not your traditional ABAP positions anymore. The market has completely evolved.
No, not at all. This is really the convergence of classic ABAP expertise with cloud-native development. The skill requirements have completely transformed in 2025. And I think what's driving this is the massive S/4HANA migration wave we're seeing.
Oh, interesting. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So think about it. Most enterprises have until 2027 for the ECC end of maintenance, right? We're in late 2025 now. Every company running SAP is either in the middle of or planning their S/4HANA transformation. And Clean Core is not optional anymore. It's mandated by most CIOs.
Clean Core keeps coming up in these job descriptions. For our listeners who might not be familiar,
Right. So Clean Core is essentially a paradigm shift. Instead of modifying the SAP core system directly, which was standard practice for decades, you build all customizations as side-by-side extensions. Everything stays outside the digital core. This means easier upgrades, better supportability, and you're ready for continuous innovation from SAP.
Exactly. So, break it down for me. What are we actually seeing in terms of role differentiation?
Yeah, so from these job descriptions, I'm seeing basically 3 distinct career paths emerging, plus some interesting hybrid roles. First, you have the core RAP framework developer. These are folks at product companies actually building and enhancing the RAP framework itself. Then there's the RAP application developer or consultant. That's the bulk of the market, probably 70 to 80% of postings. Third, the senior RAP architect or lead. These are the 10-plus year folks driving enterprise-wide Clean Core transformations. And fourth, this is emerging, the RAP integration specialist, who focuses on connecting SAP with non-SAP systems using event-driven architectures. Each path has completely different focuses, skill requirements, and honestly, very different day-to-day work. Should we dive deep into each one?
Absolutely. Let's start with that core framework developer role. This sounds pretty specialized and niche.
Oh, it is incredibly specialized. This is really hardcore framework development. These folks are literally building the RAP framework that thousands of developers worldwide will use. So day to day, they're enhancing the ABAP RESTful application programming model itself. They're working on OData v4 service provisioning, implementing collaborative draft scenarios that handle multiple users editing the same object. They're integrating business AI capabilities directly into the programming model, and this is huge in 2025. We're talking embedded analytics, predictive capabilities, and even generative AI tools to accelerate development. One job description mentions building agentic AI tools, basically AI agents that can write RAP code based on natural language requirements. That's cutting-edge stuff. And here's the kicker. Many of these positions require fluency in both German and English because you're collaborating with core development teams globally, including teams in Germany, where a lot of the foundational SAP development happens.
Wow, that's specific. What technical skills are they screening for? Like, what separates someone who gets an interview from someone who doesn't? So the absolute must-haves I'm seeing: deep ABAP or object-oriented programming expertise. And when I say deep, I mean you understand memory management, performance optimization at the kernel level, design patterns. Understanding of ABAP Core Data Services, CDS, is fundamental. But not just using CDS views, you need to understand the metadata framework, the annotation framework, how the SQL engine processes these views. Compiler design knowledge is a plus. Some positions mention working on the ABAP compiler itself to support new RAP features. And interestingly, they want people who can explain complex concepts clearly. You're not just coding, you're writing documentation, creating tutorials, sometimes even presenting at conferences.
That's intense. What about the educational requirements?
Most want a computer science or software engineering degree. And honestly, for these framework roles, a master's degree gives you an edge. They're looking for people who've studied algorithms, data structures, maybe even programming language theory. But here's what's interesting. They also value open source contributions. If you've contributed to any programming language or framework on GitHub, that carries significant weight.
Got it. Now, moving to the second category, the RAP application developer or consultant roles. These seem to be also everywhere.
Yeah, this is where the volume is. Like 70–80% of the postings are for this role. And the variety is huge. You've got consulting firms, system integrators, and user companies in every industry. A typical day, let me paint you a picture. You come in, you've got a requirement to extend the procurement process in S/4HANA, but you can't touch the core. So you're developing a completely separate application using ABAP RAP on SAP BTP ABAP environment. You're creating CDS views that read data from S/4HANA through defined APIs. You're building behavior definitions that implement your business logic. You're exposing this as an OData v4 service that a Fiori Elements app will consume. Walk me through the technical stack they're working with daily.
Oh, this is where it gets interesting. The modern RAP Developers Toolkit in 2025. Development environment, Business Application Studio, or VS Code with ABAP development tools. Eclipse-based ADT is still around, but declining. Version control. Git is mandatory now, not just for transport management, but actual Git workflows, feature branches, pull requests, code reviews. Core RAP components. You're writing behavior definitions with determinations, validations, and side effects. You're implementing draft handling for complex business objects. You're exposing this as an OData v4 service that a Fiori Elements app will consume. Integration layer. You're working with event mesh for asynchronous scenarios. Like when a purchase order is approved, it triggers events that other systems consume. You're using communication arrangements and destination service for external API calls. Front end, while you might not be a UI expert, you need to understand how Fiori Elements consumes your services, how annotations affect the UI, and increasingly, how to create custom UI5 components when Elements isn't enough. Testing. ABAP Unit for backend, OPA 5 for integration testing, and increasingly, automated API testing using tools like Postman or REST clients.
That's a lot. How does someone keep up with all this?
It's definitely overwhelming at first. But here's the thing, you don't need to master everything at once. Most developers specialize. Some become experts at complex behavior implementations, others focus on integration scenarios, some specialize in performance optimization. What's non-negotiable, though, is understanding the clean core philosophy and the basic RAP framework. Everything else you can learn on the job.
I keep seeing 5 to 6 years experience required for these roles, but RAP hasn't been around that long, has it?
No, you're absolutely right. RAP was only generally available around 2019, 2020. What they really mean is 5 to 6 years in ABAP development total, with at least 2 to 3 years specifically in RAP and S/4HANA. But here's what I'm seeing. Companies are becoming more flexible. If you have strong classic ABAP skills and you've done personal projects in RAP, they'll consider you. The market is just too hot and there aren't enough experienced RAP developers. Here's a pro tip though. If you're transitioning from classic ABAP, emphasize your experience with ABAP objects, not procedural ABAP. RAP is entirely object-oriented, so that background is crucial.
Interesting. So what about the third category, the senior RAP architect roles? These sound quite different.
Oh, these are completely different beasts. These are strategic positions requiring 10 to 15 years of experience typically. You're not just coding anymore. You're defining the entire extensibility strategy for an organization. You're leading clean core transformations. And I mean enterprise-wide initiatives that might span 2 to 3 years and involve hundreds of custom developments. Let me give you a typical scenario. A large manufacturing company has 2,000 plus custom ABAP programs in their ECC system. Many use user exits, modifications, enhanced standard tables. Your job, define how to move all of this to S/4HANA following clean core principles.
That sounds massive.
It is. You're making decisions like, which customizations become RAP applications? Which can be replaced by standard S/4HANA functionality? Which should become partner solutions? How do we handle the data migration for custom tables? You're also mentoring teams, maybe 20 to 30 developers, running workshops with business executives to explain why they can't have that custom field in a standard SAP table anymore, coordinating with basis teams on the infrastructure setup for BTP.
So these are more leadership roles than pure technical positions.
It's both, and that's what makes them so hard to fill. You still need deep technical expertise because you're reviewing code, you're designing the overall architecture, you're troubleshooting the complex issues that nobody else can solve. But you also need soft skills, communication, stakeholder management requirements diplomatically. One job description I saw wanted someone who could facilitate conversations between business stakeholders with conflicting requirements while maintaining technical integrity. That's an art form.
What about compensation for these senior roles?
The senior architect roles, base salaries from $150,000 to $200,000 are common, but many include significant bonuses. Sometimes 30 to 40% of base. And if you're at a consulting firm, there might be profit sharing or equity components. One posting for a principal RAP architect at a major consulting firm, though they didn't list the salary, market intelligence suggests these go up to $250,000 to $300,000 total compensation.
Wow. Let's talk about that fourth category you mentioned, the RAP integration specialist. This seems new.
Yes, this is emerging in late 2025. These folks specialize in connecting SAP with the broader technology ecosystem. They're experts in event mesh, building event-driven architectures. They know how to connect RAP services with Kafka, how to build resilient API layers, how to handle distributed transactions across SAP and non-SAP systems. They're also increasingly working with AI and ML platforms, exposing SAP data for machine learning models, bringing predictions back into SAP processes.
What's driving demand for this specialization?
Companies are realizing that SAP can't exist in isolation anymore. You've got Salesforce for CRM, Workday for HR, custom applications on AWS or Azure. Everything needs to talk to everything else in real time. And with RAP providing proper REST APIs and event capabilities, SAP can finally play nicely in a modern microservices architecture. But you need specialists who understand both worlds.
Let's get into the specific technical requirements. What's absolutely essential across all these roles in late 2025?
Okay, so the non-negotiables that appear in literally every job description. ABAP RAP with S/4HANA, not just RAP in isolation, but how it works with S/4HANA, understanding released APIs, key user extensibility, developer extensibility, CDS views, and not just basic stuff. You need to understand CDS associations, annotations, performance aspects, analytical views, transactional views, the difference between interface views and consumption views. OData V4 services. V2 knowledge isn't enough anymore. You need to understand V4 features like delta queries, deep inserts, batch processing. Behavior definitions and implementations. This is the heart of RAP. Determinations, validations, side effects, draft handling. If you can't write a complex behavior implementation, you're not ready. Clean core principles. You need to articulate why clean core matters, what the different extensibility options are, when to use which approach.
What about the nice-to-haves that give candidates an edge?
Great question. Here's what makes you stand out. SAP BTP services beyond just ABAP environment. If you know workflow, business rules, integration suite, you're more valuable. SAP application programming model, especially for Node.js. There's increasing convergence between RAP and CAP. DevOps practices, not just Git, but CI and CD pipelines, automated testing, infrastructure as code. Fiori UI5 development, you don't need to be a front-end expert, but if you can build a custom UI5 app, you're ahead of the pack. Performance optimization, if you can use SQL trace, runtime analysis, and actually improve performance, that's gold. Any cloud platform experience, AWS, Azure, GCP, understanding cloud concepts like containers, serverless, that all helps.
Any certifications that actually matter, or is it all about experience?
Certifications are interesting in the RAP space. The Certified Development Associate SAP S/4HANA Cloud Extensions is showing up a lot. It covers RAP, clean core, the whole stack. There's also the BTP certification track, anything that shows you understand the platform. But honestly, and I can't stress this enough, a GitHub repository with working RAP examples beats certifications every single time. I saw one candidate who built a complete leave management system in RAP, deployed it to a trial account, and included the live URL in their CV. They got interviews at every company they applied to.
Speaking of interviews, let's get super practical. What should candidates actually prepare? Like, what are the actual questions being asked?
All right, let me give you the real insider view. Based on what candidates are telling me, here's what's actually being asked. Technical questions that come up repeatedly. Explain the difference between determinations and validations. Know this cold. How do you implement draft handling for deep structures? They want specifics. What's the difference between managed and unmanaged scenarios? Fundamental concept. How do you handle pessimistic locking in RAP? Shows you've dealt with real-world scenarios. Explain the side effects framework. When to use it, how it impacts performance. Scenario-based questions. We have a custom table with 10 million records. How do you expose this efficiently through RAP? They want to hear about pagination, filtering, maybe even data aging strategies. Users complain that saving a draft takes too long. How do you troubleshoot? They're testing your debugging skills and understanding of the draft framework. We need to integrate with a REST API that has OAuth authentication. Walk me through your approach. Test your integration knowledge. Code reviews are huge now. They'll show you RAP code with subtle issues and ask you to identify problems. Common traps, missing authorization checks, inefficient database access, incorrect use of numbering.
That's super helpful. What about for the different levels?
Yeah, so it varies by seniority. For junior and mid-level application developer roles, be ready for a live coding exercise. Usually something like create a simple RAP business object for managing products with CRUD operations. They want to see if you know the basics, CDS view, behavior definition, service binding. Have a demo ready on your phone or laptop. Seriously, pull out your phone and show them a working app. It's impressive. For senior developer and consultant roles, prepare a complex scenario you've implemented. Maybe something with multiple child entities, complex validations, integration with external systems. Be ready to discuss design decisions. They'll ask you about performance optimization. Know how to use STO5, SAT, and understand execution plans. Expect questions about testing strategies, unit tests, integration tests, how you ensure quality. For architect roles, prepare a full clean core transformation case study. How would you migrate a heavily modified system? Have architecture diagrams ready, use draw.io or similar, make them professional. They might ask you to review a statement of work or project plan and identify risks. This tests your real-world experience. For integration specialist roles, deep dive on event-driven architecture. Know event mesh, understand eventual consistency, be able to discuss saga patterns. API design principles.
This is incredibly detailed. What about the interview process itself? How many rounds? What's the format?
The process has become quite standardized. Round 1, technical screening, 30 to 45 minutes. Usually with a senior developer or technical lead. They verify you actually know RAP. But for RAP, it's usually a conversation. Round 2, technical deep dive, 60 to 90 minutes. This is intense. Live coding, system design, code review. For remote positions, they use screen sharing. For on-site, it's often whiteboarding. Round 3, assignment, take-home. About 70% of companies now have this. Build something in RAP, usually with specific requirements. Time frame is typically a week. Pro tip, go beyond the requirements. Add unit tests, documentation, maybe a simple UI. Round 4, cultural or behavioral, 45 to 60 minutes. Don't underestimate this. They want to know if you can work in an agile environment, handle changing requirements, deal with difficult stakeholders. Round 5, final or hiring manager, 30 to 45 minutes. Salary negotiation, start date, sometimes a final technical question to break ties between candidates. For senior roles, add a presentation round where you present to multiple stakeholders, sometimes including business users.
That's quite the process. Let's talk about something interesting I noticed. These roles are almost all on-site or hybrid now. One posting literally had on-site in capital letters. Another said 5 days per week in office, no exceptions. What's driving this shift back to the office?
This is a real trend, and it's controversial. Several factors are driving it. First, RAP development often happens during S/4HANA implementations. These are massive projects with tight deadlines. Project managers want everyone in a war room collaborating in real time. Second, knowledge transfer. RAP is still relatively new. Companies want junior developers sitting next to seniors, learning by osmosis. It's harder to do that remotely. Third, client requirements. If you're at a consulting firm, clients often want to see consultants on site. It's a trust thing, even if the actual work could be done remotely. Fourth, and this is the real one nobody talks about, many enterprises still have hybrid landscapes. Some systems are on-premise, some in private cloud. You might need physical access to servers, especially during troubleshooting. But here's what I'm seeing. The fully remote RAP positions do exist, but they're usually at product companies or smaller consultancies. And they often pay 10 to 15% less than comparable on-site roles.
Interesting trade-off. Now, salary reality check. What are you actually seeing for late 2025, and how does it vary by location?
All right, let me give you the real numbers based on actual offers being made. United States, entry-level RAP developer, 2 to 4 years, $90,000 to $120,000. Mid-level RAP consultant, 5 to 8 years, $120,000 to $160,000. Senior RAP architect, 10 plus years, $150,000 to $200,000 base. Total comp can hit $250,000 plus. Framework developer at product companies, $140,000 to $180,000. Europe, converting to USD. Germany, about 80 to 90% of US salaries, but better benefits. UK, similar to US, sometimes higher for London-based roles. Eastern Europe, 40 to 60% of US salaries, but cost of living adjusted. India, significant variation here. Top consulting firms pay 25 to 45 lakhs, $30,000 to $55,000 for mid-level. Product companies can go higher, 50 to 80 lakhs for senior roles. Captive centers of US and European companies pay premium, sometimes 30 to 40% above market. Asia Pacific, Singapore on par with US salaries, Australia similar to US, sometimes higher due to demand. Japan, growing market, salaries catching up to Western standards. Remote positions, usually benchmarked to company location, not employee location, seeing location-adjusted salaries becoming common. Could be 70 to 80% of headquarters location.
What about career progression? If someone starts as a RAP developer today, where can they be in 5 years?
Oh, the progression paths are really interesting. Traditional technical path. Year 1 to 2, junior RAP developer. Learning the basics, working on simple objects. Year 3 to 4, RAP developer. Independently building complex applications. Year 5 to 6, senior RAP developer, mentoring others, handling architecture for modules.
Speaking of training, what about the learning path? Say I'm a classic ABAP developer with 5 years of experience. How do I transition? Give me a realistic roadmap.
Perfect question. Here's a realistic 6-month roadmap that actually works. Month 1, foundation. Week 1 to 2, get a BTP trial account, do the basic RAP tutorials on SAP Developer Center. Just follow along, don't worry about understanding everything. Week 2 to 3, understand CDS views deeply, not just syntax, but the concept of associations, annotations, the difference between basic and composite views. Build at least 10 different CDS views. Month 2, core RAP concepts. Week 1 to 2, behavior definitions. Start simple, just create, read, update, delete. Understand managed versus unmanaged scenarios. Year 3 to 4, add complexity, validations, determinations. Understand the safe sequence. This is where most people get confused, so spend time here. Month 3, advanced features. Week 1 to 2, draft handling. This is complex but critical. Understand the draft cables, the life cycle, exclusive locks. Week 3 to 4, side effects and feature control. Learn how to create dynamic UIs that respond to user input. Real-world application. Build something substantial, not a toy app, but something you'd actually use. Ideas? Expense management system with approval workflow. Project time tracking with reporting. Leave management with team calendar. Asset tracking with QR codes. Make it complete. Authorization, error handling, performance optimization, unit tests. Create a GitHub repository. Write a detailed README. Include architecture diagrams. After 6 months, you're not just marketable, you're ahead of many people already working in RAP roles.
That's a solid roadmap. What about common mistakes you see people making when learning RAP?
Oh, where do I start? Biggest mistakes. Thinking RAP is just ABAP in the cloud. It's not. It's a completely different paradigm. You're thinking in business objects and behaviors, not function modules and reports. Skipping the basics to jump to complex scenarios. I see people trying to build complex draft applications when they don't understand simple CRUD operations. Foundation matters. Ignoring the clean core principles. If you're still thinking in terms of modifications and enhancements, you're missing the point. It's about extensibility, not modification. Not understanding the full stack. RAP isn't just back-end. You need to understand how Fiori consumes your services, how annotations affect UI, the whole flow from database to user screen. Learning in isolation. Join the SAP community. Participate in forums. Ask questions. The RAP community is actually very helpful. Focusing only on happy path. Real applications need error handling, authorization, performance optimization. Don't skip these. Not practicing debugging. When something doesn't work, and it won't, you need to know how to use the debugger effectively in the RAP context.
And what about resources?
The learning ecosystem for RAP has really matured. Official resources, SAP Learning Hub, comprehensive but requires subscription, developers.sap.com, free tutorials, getting started guides, SAP community, forums, blogs, questions. Other resources? YouTube, several channels dedicated to RAP now. GitHub, search for ABAP RAP and you'll find tons of examples. UI5CN courses, Open SAP courses, periodic free courses on RAP and Clean Core. Books, the ABAP RESTful programming model, the official guide, bit dry but comprehensive. Clean ABAP, not RAP specific but essential for modern ABAP. Practice environments, SAP BTP trial, free, 365 days, perfect for learning. SAP CAL, Cloud Appliance Library, if you need S4HANA. Docker images, some community members have created containers. Communities, SAP mentors on Twitter or LinkedIn, follow them, they share great content. Local SAP user groups, many have RAP, special interest groups. Discord or Slack communities, real-time help when you're stuck.
Let's talk about the future. Where is this all heading? What should people be preparing for?
Great question. Based on what I'm seeing, here are the big trends for 2026 and beyond. AI integration.
Generative AI for code generation is already here. By 2026, I expect AI assistants that can generate entire RAP applications from natural language requirements. Developers who can work with AI, prompt effectively, and validate AI-generated code will be invaluable. Low-code and no-code RAP. SAP is pushing visual modeling tools. We'll see business analysts creating simple RAP applications without writing code. Professional developers will focus on complex scenarios, frameworks, and ensuring governance. Event-driven everything. Event mesh adoption is accelerating. Every business object will publish events. Understanding event-driven architecture, eventual consistency, saga patterns, this will be mandatory. Convergence with CAP. The boundaries between ABAP RAP and CAP for Node.js or Java are blurring. Developers who know both will be incredibly valuable. We might even see unified tooling. Industry-specific solutions. Generic RAP skills won't be enough. Specialization in specific industries, knowing the business processes, regulations, industry-specific requirements, that's where the premium salaries will be. Developers who can build performant, resource-efficient applications will stand out.
Any advice for people currently in RAP roles who want to stay ahead?
Absolutely. Never stop learning. RAP is evolving rapidly. What you knew 6 months ago might be outdated. Follow the SAP roadmap, attend conferences, read the release notes. Build your brand, start a blog, contribute to forums, share your knowledge. The RAP community is still small enough that you can become known. Contribute to open source. There are ABAP open source projects now. Contribute. It's great for learning and networking. Get hands-on with adjacent technologies. Learn CAP, understand Kubernetes. The boundaries are blurring. Understand the business. Don't just be a coder. Understand why businesses need these applications. Speak their language. Network strategically. Connect with other RAP developers. Join user groups. Attend meetups. The RAP community is collaborative. Document everything. Your code, your learnings, your challenges. You'll thank yourself later, and it helps others. Stay close to S/4HANA. RAP doesn't exist in isolation. Understand S/4HANA processes, new features, the roadmap.
This has been incredibly comprehensive. Before we wrap up, any final thoughts for our listeners?
Yeah, I want to address the elephant in the room. Imposter syndrome. If you're a classic ABAP developer feeling overwhelmed by all these new technologies, you're not alone. Everyone feels this way. Even senior developers are learning RAP from scratch. The good news? Your ABAP foundation is solid gold. You understand SAP business processes, you know how enterprises work, you can debug complex issues. These skills don't become obsolete, they evolve. Start small. Build one simple RAP application, then another. Before you know it, you'll be building complex solutions. And remember, the market needs you. There are more RAP positions than qualified developers. Companies are willing to train the right people, show enthusiasm, demonstrate learning ability, and doors will open.
So the message is crystal clear. ABAP RAP has become the standard for SAP custom development. It's not optional anymore. It's essential for anyone in the SAP ecosystem. The good news is the demand is massive, salaries are strong, and the learning path, while challenging, is well-defined. The key is to start now. Get that BTP trial account this weekend, build real applications, and document everything publicly. Don't wait for your company to train you. Take ownership of your career transformation.
Exactly. And I want to emphasize this one more time. Having one working RAP application in your GitHub, deployed to BTP with a live URL, that puts you ahead of 90% of candidates every single time. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be complex. It just needs to work and show you understand the concepts.
This was absolutely fantastic, Ava. I feel like we've given our listeners a complete masterclass in RAP careers.
My pleasure, Alex. This is such an exciting time to be in the SAP ecosystem. The technology is modern, the opportunities are endless, and the community is growing.
Listeners, if you have job descriptions that are confusing you, especially these new cloud-native roles, send them our way. We'll decode them just like we did today. No company names, complete anonymity, just clear insights into what the market really wants. Until next time, keep learning, keep building, and remember the future of SAP is cloud-native, and that future is now.
Take care, everyone. Happy coding, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.